About 20 seconds away.
And let's go.
There we go. All right. Take it away, Abe.
Good morning, everybody. This is Abe Nadimi.
I'm Jannica Morton.
Emily Francis.
Steven.
Steven. You're not your coffee god or whatever it is?
Huh?
Not
No,
today.
not today.
Everybody should know who he is. That's what his thoughts
Sorry.
are.
It's not my name.
So reporting here from Abe Studios, here in Abeville, Texas.
The weather's always scary here.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Today's going to be a great day. We're going to talk about fun,
Fun.
which is Jannica's favorite topic.
One of them.
What's
I
your
put the
favorite
FU in
Love.
fun, so that's my favorite.
Yes.
topic? Oh my God. And tomorrow I'm going to be leaving the United States to go to Mexico for a fun 5-day trip to Cabo.
And hope they let you back in.
What happens in Cabo stays in Cabo. That's a shout out to all my friends that watched The Hills back in the day.
Back in the day.
So yeah, exactly.
Or Laguna Beach,
So-
I can't
so
remember.
what-
Same
as,
thing.
As what
Garbage
you're
television.
saying,
Mm-hmm. Totally
I'm going to be
missing
using my
thing on
U.S.
that
passport to get back in, so I want to let this be officially known. I have video proof that I am on this side of the border, and I've been here for a while. So if I get stuck on that side, I'm going to make sure that they take it to Facebook and.
Y'all, this is a green screen.
I don't
We're
think it's
in a
gonna matter.
trailer on the border. He's just
Yeah.
talking a
I don't
lot of
think it's really
shit.
going to matter, but I'm going to try it anyways.
It's just gonna be a deep fake.
You're right. So, let me
Okay,
see,
wait,
update
have to
my
fix
Facebook updated. So we live stream here. So, fun. This is the wrong
But-
conversation for me. You guys would be staring at me looking to lead it. So, Jannica, take it away.
I mean, we are having the fun conversation on the day where like it seems like the weather is about to have some fun. Everybody else is gonna be screwed.
Yeah.
What's up, Jen? Thank you for tuning in.
I'm
Good
just
to see you.
super glad that it's not doing this like as I'm walking from the train, which it seems like it's gunning for me.
Yeah, every time you're just like, you better stay up there, no
Facebook
rain.
is so weird. Sometimes it'll show who's actually watching. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you'll see the little eyeball with a bunch of people on it, and then
Sometimes you don't.
it doesn't have the little like showing. I wonder if it's a privacy setting on their side where.
Oh, it's
So
stupid.
fun.
It might be. I feel like there is some setting you can change where like people don't know I'm watching them, which is my favorite.
But it says like she joined, and then it's not showing where it's there. So
It's
anyways, always a fun
creeper
thing on-
mode.
It's always a fun thing on the live streams. So fun, Jannica.
What do you do for fun, Steven?
Usually play really difficult strategy games.
She sounds like you're
Or-
home in Dallas.
In
Yeah.
Dallas.
Or, well, yeah, to say, yeah, difficult strategy games or simulators. I've always played
Something that
simulators.
you can do at home in Dallas.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So when you go out with Christy or anyone,
Oh yeah.
do you guys talk or do you watch people around you and create stories about them?
That's a good. I feel like
That's a war statement. I think there's an and statement here.
Or and both?
yeah, I was gonna say that does
Do you
happen,
talk about the people?
but we do tend to like go out and like just talk to each other. But I was gonna say like external stuff that we do for fun is like restaurants, checking out new bars,
Yeah.
going to like I can't really put movies in the category. I mean, like movies are a thing that happens, but it's just like it is something that
is,
just
yeah.
happens. But then like going to shows like something will happen at the Windsphere, that's the Opera House or like theater show or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
kind of
cool.
like the main stuff.
Do you
Yeah.
travel for fun? Do you enjoy travel, I should say?
So I enjoy travel, but I don't do as much as I want to because I tend to travel a lot for work.
Yeah. You don't have fun with that.
Not as much.
No.
Like, cause it's all efficiency, right? I want to get into the airport, I want to get out of the airport, I want to get to where I'm going, I want to get done with it, and then that's it. Like, I can have fun somewhere in between, but like,
Steven wants
otherwise,
the most efficient fun ever.
cause I also,
Why not?
like, so traveling by myself is more fun than traveling with other people.
Yeah, okay, I'd have to
Say
agree
that
with
again?
that.
Traveling
Yes.
by myself is more
Yep.
fun than traveling with other people, and the main
Agreed.
reason is because usually there's a group that has like, cause you're almost kind of managing, but the
Why
issue
are you looking at me?
because I'm pretty sure we
Because
are
I think like the
yeah.
high IQ guys on this side of the table all have similar opinions on so many issues. But
I loved my trip to Costa Rica by myself, and I didn't have to follow anyone else's schedule or listen to them whine and complain or
when was the
anything.
last time you did that in your?
A year ago, exactly.
No,
last
I mean,
week.
when was the last time you did that before that, and since you had babies?
Never.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
The other one just business, of course.
a lot of it is also like I don't have. It's the especially with family. It's the tug between traveling for something that you want to do, which is fun,
Right.
considering everybody else's idea of fun,
Right.
and then kind of being thrown into like an orchestration role, but you didn't plan on an orchestration
no,
role.
that's like a nightmare for me.
Yeah, so it becomes work without being work, and you're like, you know,
And
if we
stress, and you have to juggle everyone.
and
Well,
And-
this is why you don't take control of it. You just go and you like release it and just have fun and
exactly
ignore it.
exactly you have to
How
do
much
that.
fucking cocaine are you on to make that happen?
That's
I'm
the
not
opposite
happy
of being
juice.
relaxed
Happy,
and
just
laid
happy.
back.
Because a lot of
You're
it,
a control freak. Level 9. You're a control freak like level 7.
but every single
So
person.
what are you talking about?
Every single
You just
person,
let it go.
yeah, every single person that is a control freak that wants to have control for things to work the way they want to, when you know that that's not a fight you can win,
Yeah.
you just say whatever.
You
and
go,
just
fuck
deal with
it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna
Fight.
enjoy the ride.
So many,
Or flight.
So
I'm
many-
just saying, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
flight right out there. What are you talking about?
there are so many times where like I've gone on trips and people are like, "Oh man, this happened." I was like, "Yeah, it happened because of this, this, and this." And they're like, "Well, if you knew that, how come?" I was like, "Because that's not my job. I'm supposed to be on vacation, and if you guys wanted me to help you avoid this problem, you surrender the control of this, 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 and this, and then we get it done the way I want it to be done, and it's clean and smooth." And they're like, "Well, we don't like that because then, like, you know, we don't get to this thing that we care about, which is like, you know, being able to wake up at 5 and still make, you know, not waking up early enough to get
Yeah.
to the airport or whatever it is."
So
I'm like, "Cool.
I'll let you share something.
You get one thing or the other.
Can I share
It's
something?
true.
So happy, Steven, or you get efficient trip. Either one."
Can I share an opinion?
That's
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Share
yeah,
your opinion.
go
We're
for it.
waiting.
I'm gonna tell you 2 stories.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the
Start the timer.
The opinion is, or the lesson for me was that there is a difference between right and wrong,
Okay.
but it's very, very infrequently that right and wrong are actually the states in which something is in. There's opinions, there
Yeah.
is preferences.
Yeah, I would agree with
So
that.
something is not necessarily right or wrong, it's just a preference.
Right.
And that everybody has has a right to their preference,
hmm
and there is no preference that's greater than another preference.
Yep.
True.
Right? So, because you could say a more efficient schedule, but that's just a preference.
Yeah, that's my personal
It's
preference.
your personal preference, right? It's my personal preference. It's not necessarily the people that you're with's preference.
Yep.
So I went on 2 trips that really solidified this moment for me, right? This life, almost a rule that I have, which is that there is levels in which we can associate with people. We don't have to go all the different levels, right? So
Right, right.
you can be that person that's like, I love to have lunch with Steven occasionally when we bump into each other at the cafeteria.
Yes.
That's the level we're at. And you get a little deeper. You get like, well, I like to have lunch, and we like to talk about important things, but up to a level, and so forth, so on and
Right,
so
right.
forth, right? So I'll give you an example. Like me and Brian Boyer will make fun of each other in every possible way you could imagine. We lightly make fun of our kids,
hmm
and specifically our sons that are aged the same, basically.
Right.
And, you know, and Brian, if you're listening officially, he says way cooler than Becky. Anyways, but we never make fun of our wives or our moms and dads.
Yeah.
As an example.
Yeah.
Like everything you can imagine, we will say to each other.
Right. But there's an understood
There's some
rule.
things you just don't go into,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And, you know, so anyways, take all of that to this lesson. People like to be like, man, I love having lunch with you. We should go on a 5-day cruise together. It's like, hold on. Why?
Mhm.
Why? Or, you know what? This person's so cool. We've been hanging out together. We watched a couple movies. Really love hanging out. And let's go on a 10-day road trip together. Like, why?
Right.
Why go to that level? Why smush all that shit together? And then you start learning things about people that are not right or wrong.
They're just
They're
way
just
different
are.
and
Why
outside.
make your preferences?
Yes.
Like, I don't know, I went on a road trip with Steven, and he likes to hang upside down from the ceiling like Batman. And it's like, thought it was weird, but not a big deal until he hung on top of my bed. And I was like, now it's really awkward, Steven. You know, these dreads are like hanging in your face.
Which that did
sleeping.
not happen.
Oh, of course not.
None of
But
that
still, the visual is like.
But anyways, that's the whole thing. Like, but why do we
I
do
have
that to each other?
Well, actually,
Why do we go on trips that we have to bring all these other stuff, and they get into situations where it's like, our preferences just don't align.
What I've noticed actually is
I have 2 real life stories I like to share.
that's usually driven a lot by people that come from smaller like in family situations, right? So like only kids, or like maybe 1 or 2 kids, but like not a lot of extended family. Like their family lives in a whole nother country, so they're used to a very small circle of people they have to deal with. So to fill the other gaps that most people have to they are forced upon them, they find a lot of friends.
Right.
So like I dated a girl that was an only child, and she was always finding new brothers and sisters like every 6 months. And I was like, none of these people are actually your family. Stop all of this extra like mashing up of life, because like that just leads to other problems later, and invariably it always causes drama.
Right.
But that's because like she comes from she's a single child, and most of her cousins are like overseas, whereas I have 200 family members here in Dallas. If I on any given Saturday I can run into like 75 younger cousins under the age of 10.
I don't think there are 200
Just-
people in my entire family on both sides.
It's just too much. So like I'm like, yeah, give me all of my space, because like anytime that I want to just fall backwards into like way too much overstimulation, I've got family.
You know,
Right.
So I have 2 stories, and they both relate to the city of Austin.
Mm.
So I went got the sequence of these. I want to say, I think the sequence was I went down with a friend who had a dog first,
Okay,
and this dog is the size of 4 people, right? It's a
big one.
huge dog,
4 people.
sweet, loving, amazing, wonderful dog. So on the way down there, we're like, oh my God, what is that smell? Right? Well, the dog food container bust open, and so there was dog food smell all through the car.
Yuck.
Not my jam
No.
at all. Nobody's jam, not my jam. I don't have a dog,
No.
right? So we get down to Austin. We can only have certain rooms in certain hotels because of the dog, right?
Yeah.
And so that became a whole issue too, where it's like, okay, well, we can't go to any, can't go to Doubletree, can't do any of those places. We have to find an Airbnb that the lady would allow such a thing, and so it's like all this complexity for me was complexity, right? Because it's like easy, just go get a room. Nope, can't get a room anymore. So we go down there, and then on the way back, I'm in the back seat this time. His girlfriend's sitting in the front seat, and the dog is breathing on me. Covered, because it was raining, so we went out. We're at the park. Covered.
Stinky wet dog.
Stinky wet dog, the size of 5 humans, head this big, right here, between the seat
I
and the
loved a video of you
and the
and that whole
column
experience.
of the car, mouth right here like, and I'm like, oh my God,
You thought you were gonna die, didn't
oh
you?
my God,
Or you wanted to die.
why am I doing this? Because I love my friend, not this much though. Like, why do we?
Yeah.
So anyways, fast forward like 6 months later, we're back in Austin this time. Tangy and I go down with a couple and our friends. So there's 5 of us, right? So believe it or not, when I go on trips, I usually go no plan. Kind of. Like, well, not so much. Because we kind of planned out our time in Italy a lot. But it's like whatever. Let's just go with the flow. I don't know. We'll find some place when we're hungry. We'll pull up Google Maps. We'll pull up something and go look.
Right.
No big deal. We don't need a plan. I'm not the guy who wakes up like, we have to be at this one at 7, and then we'll be there for 2 hours, and then we'll go here. I usually say like, what is the biggest thing in the city I want to go see? And then I make sure that one's done, and whatever, fuck it, the rest, okay?
Yes. Yes.
So, no, not this person. This person is like, we must move like a Nazi regiment attacking Poland. Like, what the shit, man? So
But-
we're in a fucking antique shop, and I can get lost in those places for whatever, right? Sometimes Tangy takes longer, sometimes I take longer. We don't care. We're on vacation. We're chilling. Or that's what we do here on a Saturday or something. It's no big deal. But are you guys done yet? No, we're just almost. Okay, we're waiting in front. Whenever you're done. Okay, 5 minutes later. Hey, how's it going in here? Like, okay, well, we'll leave. We'll go to the next door. So we do this again. Like 3 times later, we're like, oh my God. Oh my God. So what, are you guys hungry? No. Okay, well, we're hungry. Can we eat now? Like, sure. Where do you want to eat? I like this place. No, I don't like that. Can we go to this place? I'm like, what the fuck? And this happened all weekend. And I'm telling Tangy, like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why?
To hang
I have
out
a
with people.
Perfectly amazing friend. Nothing wrong with the friend. There is no right or wrong here. It's just
No.
our preferences don't match.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
why
the
do
thing
we
is,
do this?
do your
This is not
preferences
fun to
have
me.
to match to still be friends? Like,
No.
to me, that's what I enjoy about a lot of my friends is that I'm like, let's try this weird shit your way. It's not gonna kill me. Plus, I'll get really good stories about it later. You know what you don't get good stories about? People you get along perfectly with where nothing interesting happens.
It's very true.
This is
I
very
have
true.
stories that I can't tell because, you know, social media, and my friends sometimes watch this, but man, I've got good travel stories.
Nope, not interested in travel.
So there's an interesting.
And I'm the only child thing where I'm like, yes, I've had a best friend and their family everywhere I've ever lived.
But you have it in balance, which is good.
Yeah.
Some people get out of the balance thing, and it's like, I need, which is fine if that's what they want to do. But like, I know, like,
Well,
I
at
don't.
this point, I let people be drawn to me, and then I just not.
I don't match well with those people further than the acquaintance level usually, because like it's fun for me to like go and do one thing with them. Like, but once it's like more integrated, then there's preferences in like communication that tend not to match, and then there's also preferences in like the type of interactions. So like most of there are people that are like, well, we haven't spoken in like 2 days, and I'm like, I mean, yeah,
I literally
get
forgot
that.
you existed until just now.
Pretty much. It's like because I haven't seen you in 2 days. And like, yeah, but you also didn't call and text me. I'm like, but I don't communicate like that at all.
I don't either.
Every week
Drives
I
me
think Stephen
crazy.
breaks up with me. I have to text him Sunday morning. Like, we cool, bro? I'm just joking.
But like,
Can
I
you
mean,
imagine?
but think about that. Like,
That's how you
there
get
are-
blocked.
for me, it was one of those things where like, not only did I have a bunch of family, I also saw a bunch of them at school. And I saw a bunch of them at church on the weekend. So, like, I didn't really have space to myself. So I'm like, well, I see you 24/7 anyway. I don't need to talk to you because I'll see you within the next 48 hours.
People don't get that.
And phones were not as ubiquitous when I was
Right.
growing up. So it wasn't like you actually could. It like that was something that was developed over the time that like, people had cell phones and then free text plans and that kind of stuff. So by the time you get to college, communication is pretty seamless and you can do this, right? But by that point, I'm already set in the whole like I don't need to talk to you until I see you.
I would rather not talk to people until I see them. I'm not a.
Because then on the other side, it's like, okay, what are we talking about? Like, do we have something
Let's just focus
to actually do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So now that I get that out of the way about why people travel with each other.
But I would also say that one of the other pieces for the travel piece is if someone wants to run the trip that way, then like they have to take on the responsibility of understanding where everyone fits in that. And like if you want to run the schedule that way, then you have to say, okay, we're going to run the schedule this way because all these people want to do this. We're going to leave Abe to do what his thing. Here's the list. Meet us somewhere in there, right?
Exactly.
Not
100%.
you have to be with us
Yes.
and do it my way.
100%.
Yeah,
Totally
that's
love that.
definitely been a big positive change for Miles and I doing trips together. It's like, okay, these are a couple of things we're both really excited about. Otherwise, we'll see you at dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm yes.
See, you see Miles at dinner, or y'all see the other friends at dinner?
Us, when we travel together. I mean, the two of us. Generally speaking, we've only taken a couple of trips as a couple with other couples that weren't like Katie and Jared, in which case we all want to be together the whole time anyway. So
Yeah.
Right.
I know that's how Larry and I
it's
most
like we're on
of
the
our
same
life-
flight, and then we're like, oh hey, I know you from Dallas, right? Hey, you look familiar.
When you don't enjoy the same things,
No, Miles has to be doing something constantly. I'm like, I'm on
Yes.
vacation.
I want to lay and read.
I don't even want to I want someone to bring me a new book because I finished this one.
Exactly.
When they bring me another drink.
Yes, I want to
You
lay by
hold
the
your
pool.
Kindle like this
Yes.
Yes.
over your face.
Yeah, basically.
I get you. That's
My
cool. Hey,
ideal
that's
is to lay there by the
No
pool
one to
or
talk
the
to
beach.
me.
No one talk to me, bring me happy drinks when it gets empty, guacamole when I'm hungry, and let me just read.
Yep.
That's all.
And Larry wants to conquer the world.
So I want to do vacations like that, and usually Christy has a list of things she wants to get done, and so I'm like, cool, you run the schedule. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna care, and you shouldn't expect me to be sad that we didn't make it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Because like that's the whole thing. Like I could care less whether or not we make it to the 15 things that are supposed to be on the schedule. So it's like, okay, we'll get to.
I
whatever
won't
we get to.
sabotage this, but I'm also not gonna like go crazy trying to.
Yeah.
achieve
That's
it.
the whole, it's like exactly. I won't sabotage this, but I'm also not going to devote effort to running it to figure out how to get you to the thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because like if you figure out how to pack all that into the same day, great.
Yeah.
If you can
'Cause-
figure out
'cause
how
if I
to
was
get to
gonna do it-
Uptown in 3 minutes after this
Oh,
event,
Gary.
and then
Yeah, because if I
You're
was going to do it, I
amazing.
would say, all right, here's the 15 things. This is the best direction to do this, so
Yeah,
we hit all
right.
these at the same
Yes.
time. Cool.
Right.
So-
And then
Yeah.
I'll see it happening. I'll be like, yeah, if we go to this place, then we're going to not have time to do these 5
Yeah.
things. But that's not my job. I'm on vacation.
Yeah. Then that's the other thing.
Oh,
For
it
me,
didn't happen.
vacation is laying at the beach. Traveling is different. Like when
That's
we went
true,
to
good
Italy
point.
or when I went to Paris. I
Vacation
wanted to
versus
explore
travel,
and see
that
stuff.
is a really good way to
I
like
didn't
think
wanna
about
sit and
it.
waste my time reading.
But your
Yeah.
version of
Travel. Okay, I see that.
your version of exploring though is you start at a point and you see where it takes you, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to schedule. Don't tell me I have to be here at a certain time because then I'm like, but I want to go do this now.
Right.
And I'm hungry
I
again.
am telling you, when
Squirrel.
I'm hearing this, I'm hearing back to our conversation, I think yesterday or the day before, which is around people need fucking marry robots.
Mary. No, that.
You
No.
tell robot is
No.
not on vacation.
No.
The AI system knows exactly what's happening and will be the best vacation partner possible. Why do you say no? Why are
I
you so
don't
close
want
off
a
to it?
robot.
No, okay.
Because
Why
I
do you
also
say you need
enjoy
to
that.
have a robot?
I guess I just enjoy people's quirks more than you do.
Yeah, I do. I
You
love
do really?
people's quirks.
Yeah.
You don't seem to be very happy with a lot of the quirks I see around you all the time.
Those
There's
aren't
a lot of
necessarily
frustration in your life.
quirks.
Okay, but that's
Those are obstacles that are interfering with
The way you want to
Yeah,
be
efficiency
a
and
person.
effectiveness.
yeah.
No.
There's a difference between enjoying people's quirks and then like having it around all the time, because quirkiness is something that it's like. I don't want to use chocolate. That's a bad example.
Yeah, don't use chocolate. In a
Don't
bad
put
way.
chocolate
I'll
down.
throw
Don't
this.
bring chocolate into this.
Ice cream, right?
Okay, ice cream.
Yeah,
You can't.
okay.
No, you can't shove all the ice cream in your mouth. You'll get brain
Okay.
freeze. You,
Oh God,
right?
yeah.
Right. Brain
Or
freeze.
it melts all
So
over you.
quirky people can be fun, but if you do that all the time, you get brain freeze essentially, and you're just like, okay, I've had too
You
much
want
of
to
this.
stick an
quirk.
ice pick in your
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Not in my head.
So it's like everything in moderation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if I love ice cream,
Including
Yeah.
people.
I just can't
That's all I'm saying.
have a mouthful of it all day long
telling you,
without
man.
feeling sick.
I
That-
love traveling
people-
with my kids though. I love going on vacation with them.
That actually reminds me of there's a joke. So Cat Williams in one of his earlier stand-ups, he was talking about legalization of weed, and he was saying like, why are people so mad about this thing? It grows and it has some effects, and they keep
It's
acting
just a
like
plant. It
it's-
grows that way. If you should
Yeah.
so happen to set it on fire, it has some effects.
Exactly. So that's the,
I love
and he was
Cat-
like,
early Cat Williams.
Tylenol is a safe thing, but if you take 15 of those, you'll have your last headache ever. Like who made you do it? No one made you do it.
Yeah.
Same thing with quirky people.
Yes.
Too much of it is a bad deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or people. So no, the worst thing I think for traveling or having or being with anyone on any type of fun anything are the ones that find problems with everything, or they complain about everything, or
You know who
they're
does not
scared
have
of
problems with
everything. Huh.
Robots.
You know what? I'm gonna program your robot to be the annoying person. It's gonna
Can't do
pick
that.
on you on everything.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
that's exactly what's gonna happen with Abe.
Can't
Yeah.
do that.
That's what we're gonna do. Your robot will be
I think
all
what-
the things that drive you
I
crazy.
think I'm more because I imagine this thing will basically like imprint on you and like adjust as needed to like fit what you need, and then I'll be like, that's horrible. And then I'm like, wait, I'm the problem, and like, oh no, this robot is just trying to like help me out, and I'm the worst.
It's just a self-reflective situation.
Oh, no.
Honestly,
How have
though,
I not been murdered?
honestly though, a lot of people probably do need that, like, because that's just a mirror, right? They
Yeah.
need to experience that and then realize that, like, okay, this thing has only gotten input from me, so I can train myself by training it, and then that will
Ooh.
carry over into the rest.
Wasn't like
of
the AI
I like
systems that
that.
turned out to be like some AI that they unleashed on the internet like ended up being like crazy racist after like 2 days or something
Hold on,
because of
that
all
was
of the
Tay.
information.
That
Yeah.
was Tay, and that was a Microsoft product.
It sure
Yeah.
was.
So fucking
that's what
engineers
it
went to
was.
bed at night. They came back in the morning. Every fucking thing you could have. So they
It
figured
woke
out
up with a
loophole.
MAGA hat on.
They
Well-
figured out a loop, and it was like you could tell it to repeat things to you. So they made it tweet like, "Hey, tweet that black people this or Nazis
Right.
that and or Jews this." Yeah.
So-
So there's one that says like something like, "Yes, all Jews must die. Race war now" or something. Like, oh my god.
Really?
I swear to God, I have the photos of
It was like 48 hours because it was an
Okay, that's fun. Just to see the entertainment of that.
Bill Gates waking up in the morning like, what? What? Hold on. CNN. Oh my God.
so it was a
Fun in the workplace.
I mean, dude, there was no word that it did not use to describe any
Yeah.
anybody.
it's an unsupervised
Self-learning.
self-learning natural language processing system.
Oh, okay.
So it was everything that was sent to it, everything that was tweeted at it, it would read, put it into its lexicon of like this is like people.
Yeah.
And then it would train on like what was popular because it was supposed. This is the thing. It was supposed to be the persona of a 15-year-old. So it was
Oh,
trying to
God.
learn. It was trying to learn what was cool from other
Robo
people.
boner all day long.
And so everyone figured that out. And like, you know, when you leash something on the internet, the people who most actively use the internet are also mostly nerds. And so they realized that the sample set it was learning from was only like 15 to 20 examples.
Oh,
So they
So they just
brigaded
kept
it.
bombing them.
They were like, as long as we get like 200 or 300 people to keep telling it terrible things, it doesn't matter how much good stuff comes in because we'll always have the superset.
Is
Oh,
that,
that's so
is
fucked
that not an
up.
allegory for life? Jesus.
It really is.
Yeah,
and so
it
it became, you know, very racist and homophobic within about 24 hours.
Oh my gosh, how did I not know about this? I never knew about
Oh,
this.
I'll show you
Fan-
photos.
fantastic example of like technology definitely cannot be unleashed if you don't want real consequences.
No, if
Yeah,
you don't
'cause-
want reality
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
part of
Because
it.
of people, because of humans and what they're gonna do
I think
every time.
humans are somebody else's AI. That's probably more accurate than anything.
Yeah, that's
That could be.
And somebody else is like, wow, look what.
Somebody else like, I walked away from the ant form for 2 seconds
I
and
mean,
look
yeah,
what happened.
yeah. Essentially, I would say, like, I mean, if you
So
know,
you know that, have
like-
you heard it? I'll say the thing because I
Right.
can't assume everybody has heard it. So the theory goes, obviously the humans are close to being able to create an AI environment.
yeah,
Obviously in the next, let's say, 1,000 years. Okay,
Yeah.
is that fair enough? So in the next 1,000 years, we're gonna be able to create an AI system.
yeah, some general purpose AI system that can
Some general purpose AI system. Wouldn't it be safe to say then that in 1,000 years we could create an infinite number of AI systems?
Yeah,
So Stephen will have his own server running his own little AI world, and I will have mine, and so,
yeah,
right, the probability of physical, biological life form
mm-hmm,
to create AI systems is huge.
yeah,
So thus, the probability, if you are cognizant of yourself,
mm-hmm,
that you are in an AI versus you are a physical, biological being in the real universe is way, way bigger on the AI side than the small, than the physical side.
Oh, you're talking about the being able to essentially train / imprint everything that cognitively makes you who you are onto the system specific to you, and then it.
No, I just mean like, look, let's use a simple example,
Mhm.
okay? There's 5 people in here that are what's the word, sentient beings? Or
Yeah, sentient. Yeah.
Sentient beings, right? But let's say each of us, right, had 5 servers, right? And each of us in the 5 servers, we created the AI system where character A and character B, they think they're subcognizant.
Oh.
Okay, so here we are.
Okay.
So let's say there's only 5 in those, right?
Right.
So there's 25 AI cognizant sentient beings living inside of the matrix, inside of a computer,
Right.
and there's 5 biological people.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's to say, what's the probability looking into the room, when you list out all the names of the sentient beings, what's the probability of them that some of them are biological and the other are
Mechanical.
or digital, whatever.
Right. Right.
Probability is higher on the digital side.
Right. Because.
But then the reality is that your AI system won't have 5. It could have 100,000,
Yes.
400,000,
Yes. Yes.
right? So forth, so on. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, so if you look into this little room right here, you're like, the probability of who I'm talking to being actually digital
Mm-hmm.
is 99%. So what is the probability of that in us too?
Right.
Does that make sense? Then you look at the universe, you're like, well, the universe technically is 4.5 billion years old.
There are a few. Right. There are a few theories that that when an event like that happens, it will be more likely that what we consider to be a sentient intelligence, the digital version of that will actually combine it all into one. Like it won't adhere to individuality the same way that we adhere to it. So you might
Oh, so what is
speak to,
individuality?
like, you might talk to an AI system, but it may actually consist of what we would determine as to be like a few 100,000 intelligences,
Sure, that's absolutely.
but using one voice and not caring that it
guess
only
what?
has
Isn't
one.
that very similar to humans?
No, I would
Yeah,
s-
we have
that
the
would-
soul
that would-
purpose. Hold on, let me try
Yeah.
this. There's the soul purpose. There's the soul part of us. The part of us that when you actually can meditate and you see that a thought floats by your head, and then you realize like, oh, you can separate yourself from the thought, then you are not the thought.
Yeah.
Thus, you are not the thinker.
Yeah.
So there's this thing, this being, this life form in us or whatever, the soul, the spark, obviously.
Okay.
And then you have the part that's thinking. But the part that's thinking all of a sudden has all these different modes. You have the limbic part of the brain that's like fight, flight, eat, fuck, whatever, right?
Right.
And then you have the other elements. So even in our own mind, we have so many different types of players that are coming into play at any one moment.
Yes.
So
But
it's kind of in a similar craziness.
So that's one way of doing it. But
It's the right way.
for a digital system, it would actually be more. It's more likely. It's more the analog would be more likely that each one of your cells has its own thoughts and motives that it then communicates to you seamlessly. But you don't look at, like, you don't think of the cells in your body as different. Like, you don't think about your, like,
Right, you're right.
your antibodies, even though they're going and doing their job and doing whatever they're supposed to. You don't think of them as like, oh, that's a different part of me. It's like, no, I am this, right? Versus inside of a digital system, you might actually be able to communicate with the antibody, and it'd say, yeah, my job is to be an antibody, but also like blah blah. And
But you can do that though.
no, not right now. We can't.
Yes, we can. We can reflect positive affirmations back on our body.
No.
And then we actually transmit that into our body.
No, I'm
Or
talking.
emotional thought or thoughts that we have that can drive an emotional state literally release chemicals that drive into our cells, and they communicate back to the brain.
No, what I'm saying.
Really complicated shit. So.
What I'm saying is, inside of a
Nobody gets
digital
what you're
system that would be sentient, there would also be the possibility that there could be a few 100,000 Ts in there that you could communicate to directly.
So you mean Steven can talk to my liver, that kind of, and then
Yeah.
still can kind of happen.
I would say
But
no.
that's only because we can construct it that way.
Yeah, but
I mean, kind of.
yeah, but there's
But I
no
mean, it's
there
like,
is no.
What if we were? What if we're somebody else's AI experiment?
Yeah, we could totally be that. I'm just saying, like,
How fun for
there's no
them.
interface for.
I feel like
fun.
how disappointing.
Yeah,
Well,
they're like,
yeah,
oh
that too.
god, I got the short redhead with the attitude problem. Fuck.
Well,
Let's play this one
then they
out.
play with figuring out how to knock us off, and
They're like,
yeah.
let's see what happens when the FedEx guy shows up.
Yeah,
It's Amazon.
but yeah,
Anyways, go ahead.
I would say there's no interface right now for that, and
Well, of course not right now. But what if 1,000 years? What if 2,000 years?
your cell's still going to be your cell.
Your cells will still be your cells?
Yeah.
And what does that mean to that?
Like, you can't extract a cell out of your body and have it live on its own. In a digital system that was sentient,
None of that attitude. You know what I mean?
no, literally, it does not exist. It will die because it's part of the system. But in a digital entity, one component of that system could be extracted and treated as its own individual thing. It could live by itself.
Yes, that's what my point was.
Right.
It's literally what my point
But you
was.
cannot pull out a red blood cell and throw it into a vacuum and say, okay, cool, go exist.
That's true. But if you look at all of humanity as the AI, then you could pull out one part of it called Steven and
Oh.
one part of it called Abe. And when you go into an AI, and I said your system had 10,000
Oh,
sentient beings,
okay.
one of them is called Abe and one of them is called Steven.
No, I was saying that, like, if we're
But you-
talking about each system as an individual, inside
That's
of the
different.
individual, there's a bunch of different
Yes,
runtimes.
that's different.
Yeah.
But you can really put me through a torturous environment and you'll get a whole different version of me that's living inside of me.
Yeah, but there's no situation where humanity will speak with one voice. Like, that's technically impossible.
Right?
Versus in a digital system, they could all get together and then speak with one voice.
Well, if you guys all listen to me and tell you to do what I ask you to do, we can all speak in one voice. Joking.
Thereby proving the point.
so not gonna happen.
I'm just joking. Oh my god.
Okay.
This is just a fascinating thought experiment.
So going back to the topic of fun,
This is very fun.
we've
by the
done
way.
we've done the vacation piece, and y'all asked me what I do, which is video games and other stuff when I'm not working, because work is kind of fun. But
Work is a lot of fun.
we haven't gone around and figured out everybody else's. Emily,
Well, Emily said she likes to chill on the beach and read. That's what she said already.
I
But that's not something I do.
Oh, we talked about
frequently
vacation.
for
Yes,
fun.
yes, for fun. Yes.
Honestly,
No,
well,
travel
work I do for charity is like fun because it's with my friends that I would choose to hang out with anyway. Plus, we do fun things. So I get to like go to concerts and meet artists and do music festivals for free
that sounds
and raise
fun.
money. So it's kind of a lot of fun.
That sounds fun. How about you,
I like
Jamie?
What do I do for fun besides work
And Edie?
and eating? I like to
Oh
bake.
yeah, food is fun.
Food is fun. I like to bake. I like to cook. I like to play cards. I like to play with my
What
kids.
kind of cards?
Rummy because I'm really good at it.
Okay. I've never played, by the way.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
teach
I'm so gonna teach you.
All right, go ahead.
all the ways to lose. I love to play Scrabble.
This will be like everything else.
Board games. I love board games. I love puzzles. I like all the geeky things.
Okay.
I was laughing at Kirk's comment. Elon Musk, AI is dangerous. Also, Elon, I'm launching OpenAI to beat world champs in simulated battles in the most complex Dota online play scenarios, so that one day eventually they can beat us at our own game of destroying each other.
It'd be freaking Ender's
No,
Game
that's
up in
not-
here.
that's
Oh,
not-
yeah, but did he really do that?
No, well, that's what Kirk posted. But yeah, look, he's part of OpenAI, which has designed a bunch of AI systems that can make very complex decisions versus other humans. And he also says AI is dangerous. It's kind of a self-reflexive prophecy. Like, if the one thing that you teach the computer to do is to destroy other things, it's just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the movie Tron, actually.
Did anyone
Yeah,
stay awake
exactly.
in that?
Tron?
Tron?
Which one?
The new one, of
Any of
course.
The one I slept through, and the other one which I slept through.
You were like 20 when the first one came out.
Yeah, the
Probably
first one.
younger than that. And
The
I
first
slept
one
through
is
it.
relatively interestingly paced. Like in the middle, it does get kind of like, okay, this.
Who was the actor in the first one?
Kurt.
Dennis Quaid?
No.
Kirk? No.
Wasn't Kirk Douglas, was it?
I don't know. Something
I'm
weird.
looking.
Something like I was shocked at. I was like, damn, they got that guy.
1982. I was
Yeah.
9.
Kurt Russell. I was like, Goldie
Yeah,
Hawn's
Kurt Russell.
boyfriend, and I can never remember his name.
Go.
No, it says Jeff
Sorry.
Bridges.
Yes, Jeff Bridges.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, there was a period in time where all of the main actors
Look the same.
Yeah. So it's Jeff Bridges.
And then he had mustache, which was Tom Selleck, so it was like the
And
same person and mustache.
Yeah, so Jeff Bridges is in the first one, and then he's also in the second one.
Yeah.
Because it's the father-son thing. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, his digital version, the program he created to then build the other stuff, then,
Clue.
yeah, right.
Clue was supposed to create the perfect
Right.
environment, and he specific last thing. You still want me to create the perfect environment? Yeah. Okay, cool. I gotta kill all these things.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Really fascinating.
Because that's, I mean, and essentially those things like Tron and some of the other movies about AI and whatnot, and like, HAL from Space Odyssey, these are all they're snapshots of what people were thinking of what is the systems and capabilities at this time if we took it to its logical conclusion. And really what a lot of people came up with is, okay, these things are incredibly simple, even though they could do complex things, they're still going to be relatively driven by like simple inputs. Right. And really the roll up of all that is they're all trying to answer the question of what is purpose, which is what humans do all the time, but we also get distracted by a whole bunch of other stuff that gets injected.
Your purpose is to carry the butter.
Yeah.
Carry the butter.
So, I kind of do agree with Elon that like AI is dangerous because if you give something a lot of power in a single focused purpose, it will logically take that to the end, and like the end is kind of complete. Like we don't realize how many places that we like take something and stop,
What's up, Jackie?
and then
What's up, Miss Teen?
Well,
Let's-
and empathy and things like that are not logical, so you're going to take out
Right.
any sort of concern for,
yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
So go back to fun, Steven. Pre-travel fun. Did we already do yours?
Yeah, mine was video games.
What's your current video game?
So currently,
This is a stupid question. How the hell do you play Fortnite?
I don't know. I don't care about Fortnite. Fortnite's stupid.
But you know how to get to it? You know how to play it?
I can
Yeah.
find
Oh,
play it
just
on?
talk to
How do
my
you play?
children.
So,
They all play it
Fortnite- so
nonstop.
Fortnite-
I tried to, and they're like, huh?
Fortnite
They grunt it.
is actually an
No,
interesting.
wait, whatever.
So it's mostly played on mobile.
What?
It's mostly played on phones. And specifically, like Fortnite really displays kind of where we are with computers, whereas like your phone is one of the more powerful. Like iPhones and most smartphones are pretty powerful at this point. They kind of basically are the same level as laptops, 2001. Actually, they're better than laptops 2001. So
Yeah, they are.
between that and cloud services, they've actually figured out how to take the gaming experience that used to be pretty locked into consoles and computers and actually put it into a platform that people can access pretty quickly. So that's pretty much what Fortnite in a nutshell, like its biggest accomplishment is.
Gotcha.
But at the end of the day, it's a battle royale shooter. A bunch of people go in and they play until there's last man standing, right? I was never really into those games in the first place, so
Right.
Fortnite wasn't attractive to me at
Sure.
all.
You're a strategy game guy.
Yeah, I tend to play strategy games, and the shooters that I tend to play tend to be like simulation style, like robots or flying airplanes or something like that. Like I need that combo. So
Okay.
I guess Miles is 10 years later, he's finally found, he's convinced that he will people find the video game for me to play. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I will try.
Give up.
Overcooked is actually a lot of fun.
Going back to
That would be a weird game. That's
the
actually
current game, so I currently play Mech Warrior.
stressful though.
What is it called?
Mech Warrior.
Mech?
It's
Oh, I've
Mech
seen
Warrior
that.
Online. But I've also been playing a version of that since 1992.
Wow.
So like that is it's the most longest running game, and like it started as a board game in the 80s, and then it had some novels, and then they created some video games, and so like I've just been playing it as it's happened. But that's the one thing I played the most. Second to that is Need for Speed.
Need
What's
for
it?
Speed kart racing?
From 94 when the first one came
Yeah.
out
That
all
was
the way
so
to
fun.
yeah.
So what are you playing on now?
Well, I mean I have Steam, so
He
So you
plays
play on
it
the computer?
oh
wherever
yeah,
he wants.
PC all day long. Like
PC.
we have a PlayStation 4. There are no games on it. We've never bought any games for it. It just it functions as the portal to the streaming services. We got it for free. Couldn't care less because
Got
every
it.
single time a console came out, it was always less than the computer I had.
Got it.
So
And all the games that are on consoles are pretty much available for PCs?
nowadays it's better at the crossover.
Yeah.
For a while, it wasn't that way. It was like,
right, that's what I
There were
thought.
PC
But-
games and there were console
but I
games.
always built my own PCs and like lived computer science, so I would just emulate whatever the console was. So like the PlayStation 1 came out, I just played it on my computer. Like, because you could just extract you could extract the
Yeah, I
OS
get
out
it.
there and boot it up and then go.
So there's a PS3, PS4 emulator.
Yeah,
Ha! That's so badass.
and especially when the PS3 came out, well, it was really the PS2. They were computers. They're just small computers. So anything that it was doing, you
Freaking
could
game
replicate.
is like a CD-ROM.
Yeah.
So Tandy, type your ideas about what do you like to do for fun. I see you watching. I don't know, whoever else is watching, we want to see what you like to do for fun. Jackie, if you're watching, Kirk, if you're watching, let us know. Besides, of course, watching us.
Of course, because we're
Be
the
brilliant.
best fun.
And it's super fun over here.
I did
So-
think about board games and card games and stuff.
I love them.
I
And
I think
puzzles.
that's kind of more upwardly trending now. I think the Card Against Humanity, like I think kind of sort of spawned
Yeah.
that sort of game culture. So
Mhm.
like tons of bars and stuff now have like a pretty robust like board/card game section. So people like go hang out at the bar and like play games.
See, I
Yeah.
would have gone to bars in my 20s for that.
Especially I think also now like kind of breweries are common too.
Yeah.
Like that's a place to like hang out for several hours
Yeah.
and just kind of chill and hang out, not loud music and
I
Yeah.
can't stand loud music.
Yeah.
I cannot stand going to live concerts.
I think so. There's so
You
many
don't like
people.
live concerts?
Not really.
I like live concerts
'Cause they're so loud.
when done correctly, but yeah, it's especially for small like local bands and stuff. It's hard to find a place that doesn't have that one sound person that just cranks everything up to 100 and
Yeah.
calls it a day.
It's fun. I can be there for like 15, 20 minutes and then I'm done.
Yeah.
I want to do something else. I want to play. I want to be entertained while I'm watching.
Kirk, the question is, what do you like to do for fun? Tandy said she's all about arts and crafts.
Oh, yes. Scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking.
Arts and crafts. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the idea of doing a lot of that stuff. But I mean, I can do it. It's
Yeah.
just like it'll start out fun, and then it's like it is a fucking
It's a job.
brutal drag
It is-
to the finish.
Oh,
I know,
no,
I
I
say this
love
all
it.
the time, and I know I get some heat for this.
Oh boy.
He loves
No,
this
no.
work.
Wait.
Tandy said she loves
Wait.
to play Words with Friends.
Say
and I
that-
just
say-
need more, but she needs more friends to play with.
Say-
because
say-
I would play
Kills
with you,
them
but
all.
then it would be bad.
She
And it wouldn't be
kills.
friends anymore.
She killed everybody in playing
Words
Words with
with
Friends.
somebody I used to know.
Exactly.
No, I think Tangy is too competitive like
So-
I am when it comes to that, and it would be not a good thing.
So that's me
And
and
she loves to dance. She said.
that's me
Right?
and Tetris.
You and Tetris.
I love Tetris.
So
Yes.
they actually just shut down it was a Facebook game. You remember
Yeah.
like Farmville and everything came out? Tetris Friends was a game and it let you play competitively.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
basically there's two people playing and every time you clear a line, it sends that line over to your to
That's
your
so
opponent.
smart.
So it stacks up. So like all these
So
you
you're
get-
going
Yeah.
really competing with each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
speed matters too. You don't want to like wait for the thing to drop
I'm
down.
literally getting anxious thinking
and there's
about
like
that.
so like I used to play that
She said she's too young for scrapbooking.
Fuck you.
I used to play that
She's not
Tetris all
wrong.
the time.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
she loves to
Tetris.
dance. Her favorite film trip is the zoo. I'm too young for scrapbooking. Ouch. And also love digging.
Maybe
Oh,
scrapbooking is
yes.
the next industry millennials will kill.
Oh my god.
Probably
Someone
no.
They're gonna
They
turn it
buy
into-
a lot of crap
They
that
kind
I
of
sell
did. It's
online.
called Pinterest.
Yeah, so that's its digital scrapbook.
I saw a tweet the other day that someone said, "Will someone please write an article about how millennials have killed the doorbell industry by just texting here?"
Valid.
And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, I never like I'm.
Well, some of my friends have pets or small kids that like
Right.
or both. I'm like, oh, let me just set your dog off and wake your kid up, and then.
Or they live in apartments that don't have doorbells in the first place.
Hey, look at this.
Or like they have to come
Look
down
at what?
and let you in.
Yeah.
Bethany Davis says, I enjoy 3D modeling and animation, which I actually need that right now if you are interested in helping me understand that space.
Slide into Abe's DM.
Yes, please, because I literally need to work on that for a client project I'm working on. Also working on software to make debate effective. That's interesting.
Wait. I would love someone to explain that. Make debate effective?
Yes, because I want to understand that too.
Yeah.
Because
The point
Okay.
of a debate.
Find out when he can come on and explain that because
Bethany Davis,
I
where's
legit
Bethany Davis? Where do you live? I think you should come on our show. Let's talk about that. That'd be super fun.
Cause-
He also loves shopping with Steven's credit card. That's what I think I'm reading there. Because hopefully that's not my. It's like a game.
He
where
lives in Dallas, Texas.
Katie said, listen to this. She goes, I love shopping. It's like a game where I win all the prizes.
I love that.
Love my life.
I also
Sucks
Like,
for
she's
you.
like, swipe, I win. Like,
And it's a good thing Abe likes to work. He has fun at work, so then he can.
I also agree with Kurt's
Fun to go.
chess.
Chess. You can play the world champs AI. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did like chess with friends. That one was actually one I enjoyed.
Chess is a great
And
game
it's
to
called
play.
Play Magnus, an app created by the world champ in chess. Pretty impossible to beat.
Hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Huh.
Yeah, no, chess is definitely one of those ones where it's like
That's one of the few online.
I wouldn't even say that everyone should know how to play it specifically, because some people put too much onto that. But I feel like it's a good exercise to go through, just because like the rules once understood are relatively simple, and then you kind of
It's
get
the strategy that will build over time.
and the practice element of
Yeah.
just like, okay, I'm gonna play this thing. All right, that worked or that didn't work. Next, this worked or it didn't work. Next, and like you keep on going through, and you know, so many problems that people have are because they won't do that repetitive learning piece, like the reflective learning piece. Like they don't treat themselves the way that the internet treated the Tay robot, where they're like, I tried something, put that data point away, let's see if it works again or if it works the same way, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's
I used to love
that's
chess.
why chess is good.
I used to love it. And then I started playing with Evan, or my niece Helen, and no, I don't love it anymore because I'm dead very quickly.
That's my
I'm still
that's my
wondering
mom.
what the software is to make debate effective.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the-
no, yeah. Like I was thinking, I was like, last time I talked to Bentley was like 2 years ago, and yeah, if he's working on something to make debate effective, that's going to be interesting.
That would
Yeah,
be
because
really
it's effective
interesting.
from whose perspective.
Right,
Because
exactly.
from the person speaking, I don't even think they're trying to necessarily say the truth all the time, as much as to make like a dig on the other person and sound good.
Well, that's
And
one.
then if you're in the audience,
I was gonna
That's
say,
one
not-
style of
That's what
debate.
I'm saying,
I was
that's
like,
one style.
But that's
like,
not actually.
proper debate, like
what do you mean
competitively.
proper debate? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 'cause-
did the audience go vote for me? That's what they're looking for versus
Well, that's the
maybe
thing
debate.
in a debate, like
That's-
it's not the audience.
yeah,
voting
That's
for
so-
you.
that's not talking over each other. Go for it.
Well, I was going to say that it depends on what type of debate we're talking about, and also depends on the actual goal, right? So if the goal is to make a convincing argument, you can make a convincing argument according to the judges by setting your premise and defending the premise, as opposed to actually convincing someone that what you're saying is right. Because in the space of a debate, two people could still be convinced of their positions, but understand the other position better, and then leave with the same opinions, which is fine. That's actually how I think most debates should go.
Sure.
But you know, so many people make it a zero sum. That's why, like, super interested in that.
Yeah, that would be super cool, right? I think that's fascinating. Interesting topic. Oh, look at that. He's available next week. We can make something happen. So
That'd be awesome.
yeah. And what's cool? So here is Kirk again saying, what's cool is it made the AI learn tricks based on age, and the real Magnus learned different strategies. So age 7 through 24, got it.
Yeah.
Around 14, he was a grandmaster. So
Nice.
cool.
Wow.
So you can play him at different ages, maybe?
Right, right. And you know, that's the whole thing of like, if you can get a superset of children playing chess, you get very creative strategies because they don't have enough like preconceived notions about how chess is supposed to
Or
work.
life.
Well, yeah, that too. So, yeah, playing at different ages is really interesting.
So he said the other day, like a month ago, said, I'm the boss. He's like, Mom, you can't tell me what to do. I'm the boss. It's like, well, why are you the boss? Well, I'm rich. I have money. I'm the boss.
So he gets how the world works.
Yeah.
But here's the funny part, and this is the lesson that I caught myself. So anyways, I was like, you're not rich. You don't have any money. He's like, I am rich. and I do have money. And I thought, as I went to try to convince him otherwise, I immediately caught myself. I'm like, what am I doing? Why would I, what is the goal here on my side? What am I accomplishing by
Convincing him that he's
him
not.
otherwise, that
Yeah.
this, you must, so there's the thing that you do have and then be.
Mhm.
So I do work to have money to be successful or to be happy. This is a very standard equation that people apply to themselves.
Okay.
I can't be happy, well, I don't have a car, or I don't have a house, or I don't have a wife, or I don't have a husband, whatever.
Okay.
Well, I have to do that, I have to go do all these things. So I gotta go dates to find somebody to then be happy. Well, it doesn't work like that, right? You have to start off by being happy. Or you start off by being whatever you wanna be, right?
Okay.
So you can then be, do, have.
Oh, gotcha. The things that you have are a
From a
result.
state of being.
They're a result of the things that you do, which is coming from the place that from what you are.
What you are.
Yeah.
So in Ace's mind,
He is the boss, so therefore these other
he's
things
a,
follow.
basically like, I have ideas, I'm a leader.
But he's broken it down to a very simple place, as opposed to layering all this other baggage on top of it to then
100%,
get
that's
back
exactly
there.
what the
Yeah.
point was, that it was such a simple and pure thought, right? This one was particularly that, but it was just a fascinating thing to listen to the way he was thinking about it. And then I caught myself though, knowing full well that I should not do that, or I don't believe that, right? Because these are all relative things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some
Construction.
construction work going on the floor here. So anyways, these are all relative things. What does rich mean to somebody versus somebody else or whatever,
Right.
right? So in East's world, he thinks he's rich,
That's
and
awesome.
he thinks he's a boss, and what am I to argue with him otherwise? It's pretty amazing, but I almost did, right? Good morning, Grant. Grant's tuning in to us there on Twitch. Grant, we've been up for 5 hours, brother. You're I kind of get with the program. Did you do any running yet this morning for your football career? Grant's going to play in the NFL. Any team, I think, is what he said, but he's preferably playing at the Cowboys.
He's playing for the Cowboys.
He's
Um,
he wants to play for the
Makes all
Cowboys
his
for sure.
money,
For
he
sure.
should give me some, and then I can know what
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure the other day he said I would play in any NFL team.
Well, of course it will, except for the Green Bay Packers.
Gosh, imagine that's the only team.
I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't focus on that. Just focus on the Cowboys.
I could definitely see, I could see that happening where it's like, oh, you're like, cause like walk on or something, or you go to a tryout and
Yep.
Green Bay is like, oh yeah, this promising kid. We have a terrible draft pick this year, so we just need to get whoever's cheap.
Ooh, that was a good one. That's good.
I mean, yeah, that's what happens to some.
Good.
Yes.
There's not enough stories told about the people that are in the that fill out the rest of the bench in any professional team, right?
Right.
There's so many people that play in the NFL or the NBA for 2-3 years, and they fulfill that dream, they get done, or they get injured or something, move on, they do other stuff, and people are like, oh yeah, since you weren't famous, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll play for non-US, it's other countries.
Yeah.
Like
I
they're high-level qualified athletes, they just don't play for the NBA. So it's ooh,
I knew
Well,
a-
that's like that other. What is it? The
look at the new girl,
The new girl.
Winston.
But the
Argentina.
other. I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but the other league that they had this year for not for the NFL, but it was all the people that had just retired or that weren't quite as good to make the NFL teams.
Huh. It's like a farm league.
Yeah, but it was sponsored by the NFL, and it
Right.
was, I can't remember. Grant he knows all about it, and I didn't listen.
I mean,
Grant, tell your mom what she forgot.
there's the NBA Development League,
Yeah.
right? And international
So
stuff.
they played every, I think it was Saturday or whatever. So it was just like a continuation of football for all the people who go
Mhm.
through massive detox when football's over
Yeah.
and they can't breathe and don't know what to do with their lives.
And all
and-
their legs
So
don't
Grant
work.
says for fun he plays football and hangs out with his friends.
Yeah.
It sounds about right for.
Pretty standard for a 14-year-old young man.
Mhm. And cuddles with his mommy and watches TV with me.
And gives
Wow. This is
Yes.
why having your parents on a show is terrible, because then they get to reveal stuff.
Oh, he
It's
wouldn't
not
care.
terrible because he's
He
a
would
mama's
tell
boy
everyone.
and he's happy to tell everybody.
He will hold my hand at his school. We walked, and he held my hand as we walked around. He showed me different classrooms.
Well, probably so we can
Okay.
be close to beat all his friends if they hit on you.
Wow, that's
I don't think that's what
embarrassing.
that's about. If, most children when they have Noah's age,
Mhm.
about a year old or right over a year, their ego starts to kick in and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm here, mother is there, I am not mother. Right? Because when they're born, they don't have a separation thing like that. And it evolves. That's how we have this evolution where it's like, oh, I'm here. That's where you start getting these arguments, right? Like, no, I want to do this.
I was definitely that weird kid then.
What?
Because as much as I engaged my parents, I always was like
Felt
me.
very autonomous.
Oh
Yeah,
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 I can
like-
imagine that
of
for
course you were
sure.
Probably not on month number 1.
No, I mean, it was,
You could have been.
That's how Helen was
I feel like that's how he
from
said
birth.
that was pretty. It was like, I mean, I remember mom was like, yeah, you just kind of.
But I don't
always
think that really
marched
happened with Grant. So I think
Right,
that he's
right.
still very like,
Mhm.
I am.
more like my
This
brother.
is Grant. You know, it's
Yeah.
him and his mother together.
Yep. Oh, Evan's on, and he says things he does for fun: read, play games, and go fishing.
Yeah, it's good stuff too.
Yep, reading, like
Reading, yeah.
like I
I
don't
just
know
forget
how
to,
many
like,
books I've gone
see
through.
that.
Mhm.
It's just a thing
It's
that
one of my
happens.
favorite
Now
things.
she's all like, yeah, me too, I'm intellectual.
Which is awesome because Evan didn't read until he was 9 or 10, and he still deals with like pretty severe dyslexia, but he loves to read. He reads all the time now.
Yeah,
But Evan's got to use Audible, right?
Yeah,
as a
but he
tool?
also reads.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
because the one thing that I love about reading is that reading is something that you can always attack at your own pace.
Yeah.
And the thing that I hate that screws with people in reading is when they're forced to read.
Yes.
Like when you have to read to the class or you have to read out loud. Like that is not the purpose of reading.
Totally agree.
And so many people are like, yeah, I don't read because like I had a terrible traumatic experience with reading and I just ran away from it.
That's a lot of young boys now.
Yeah,
They're
because
forced.
because
Too
you
young.
because the other half of it is like a good story will like activate your imagination. And you know what you can't do when you're reading out loud to a bunch of people? Think about what's happening,
Yeah.
visualize what's going on in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get lost. I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know. I can taste it and feel it and smell it and
Right.
like I'm there when I'm reading a
Yeah.
good book.
And
So on that note, good book it is. So we'll be signing off. I don't know if there'll be any shows till next Wednesday, I believe. So I don't know.
Well, we might do Tuesday.
Are you guys gonna do Tuesday?
I have
Yeah.
it on there.
Yeah, for sure Tuesday.
So we're looking for gotta be a pretty epic co-host, because obviously to fill in my shoes here.
This is
so.
true. I don't know.
So I'm gonna be having fun with my immediate family, the Nadimi family, in Cabo. So I get to do deep sea fishing on Friday with my brothers. That's gonna be super fun. I love that. And what else? I guess that's it.
Play, enjoy the beach, enjoy the pool, eat all the yummy food at the all-inclusive,
Mhm.
laugh.
Yep.
Be present,
All the fun stuff.
all the fun stuff. Release the control.
I don't have any control in it.
Good, awesome. You're gonna have a good time.
Don't believe it or not. It's crazy. So I'm very grateful for that.
Chase your children around.
Sounds great. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks Kurt, Tangi, Bentley for your feedback. Bentley, excited to talk to you about what you're working on. That sounds awesome. And if you're open to having a conversation around the 3D modeling, we'd love to be able to talk to you about that too. Thank you Evan and Grant for tuning in. Your mom said you got a bunch of chores and knock that out. She wants to have a big, beautiful dinner ready for her when she gets home, piping hot.
Or come over and clean my house.
And
They're working on the pool.
Tangi said Abe and I will be live in Cabo.
There you do.
I
Yeah,
don't
do
know what
like
that's
your
about,
kinetic
but sure.
journey from Cabo.
yeah, like legitimately you just sign in and go.
Yeah, it's gonna be more exciting than what my Kinetic journey would be here, because it's like, here's keyboard, here's still keyboard. Tomorrow, here's the keyboard again, I'm at the computer. Recently, it's felt like that.
Yeah, it sucks.
No, I love it, I love it, I love it. And we're doing, and on Monday, we're gonna go to an orphanage, so if anybody wants to donate any money for supplies, Tangi's taking a bunch of books, and I think, again, probably my whole family is gonna go.
That's so
I mean,
awesome.
my whole family, all like bazillion of us, 10 of us or whatever, we'll be going to Casa, well, it's Spanish, it's probably not Hookah. It could be
Oh,
Hogar, Hogar. Or
To
maybe
play?
maybe it's play, yeah,
Yeah.
also
Playhouse?
possibly.
playhouse.
That's an
That's
orphanage
gonna be
there
so
in
fun for you
Cabo,
guys.
so we're gonna go check them out. So they're asking for a bunch of stuff. So that'll be really, really fun. I know Tingy really wants to do that, so I'm excited to be there with her and supporting her doing that. Yep, that's it. So signing off from Abe Studios, this is your host, the best host,